Hi, I'm Peter Travers, and this is Popcorn, where we tell you what's going on at the movies. And the major going on for anything right now is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Harry Potter movies just take over the box office. And they probably should, because look there's only one more movie left. Well, anyway, this one brings back Tom Felton in the role of the supervillain Draco Malfoy. And Tom will be with us in just a minute to tell us how he gets so villainous. But first, let's take a look at Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
I can't be sure.
Draco, look closely, son. If we are the ones to hand Potter over to the Dark Lord, everything will be forgiven. All will be as it was, you understand?
Come over. Now, if this isn't who we think it is, Draco, and we call him, he'll kill us all. We need to be absolutely sure.
What's wrong with his face?
Yes, what is wrong with his face?
He came to us like that. Something he picked up in the forest, I reckon.
Ran into a stinging jinx. Was it you, dearie?
Tom Felton, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I have to say to the world now, because we're talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Wasn't I good about saying that?
Exceptionally good, yeah, you got it well.
Your Draco Malfoy hair is gone.
It is.
What the hell did you do with it?
Well, believe it or not, this is still my real hair, actually, Peter. I was expecting it all to fall out.
I've never seen you with real hair.
Really?
I have never seen it.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, this isn't actually officially my real...
That's not real either.
Not particularly. There's a blend of colours in there and all sorts. I don't know what exactly. But we've tried our hardest to get rid of the blonde over the last 6 months. And this is the...
This is what happens. It's still growing out. Finally, it will turn out to be ginger. You'll be like Rupert Grint.
Possibly.
You'll just have all...
I'll be happy if I have a head of hair regardless of what colour, to be honest with you.
Because that was some dye job, isn't it?
It is, and apparently it's supposed to be pretty bad for your hair, but I've been reassured by the finest hair experts that it's in relatively good shape. So.
Now, people are looking at you and they see that you're Tom Felton and that you're not, because Draco doesn't smile much.
He doesn't. No. Tom does a little bit. Yeah.
Tom does.
No, it's great. It's they're completely polar opposites.
But I'm wondering why they ever cast you in the first place. When you walked in, I would have thought maybe you were Harry, maybe you were...
Well, originally it was Harry, and then Ron, but then finally Draco. And actually, quite disturbingly, only one audition. And then he said, yeah, you're perfect. Which makes me think that maybe there was some inner malice in an 11-year-old child that I'm not sure what it was, but whatever it was.
But I mean, you've been in this business for a while.
Yeah,
right?
Supposedly.
You started,
yeah.
You did commercials, you did all this, so you're used to walking into those things.
But this one was a bit bizarre because it was it was an open audition, and they had literally droves, thousands and thousands of eager children awaiting to try and get their role, and I was the only kid in there who didn't have a clue what Harry Potter was. And it was
good for you.
Well, it was most awkward, to be honest with you. Maybe that was the reason Draco was there. I'm not sure.
They'd say, this kid doesn't know anything about it.
Well, no, I didn't say that. I winged it.
But they're seeing it. You winged it.
I did wing it. I mean, there was a line of children. They said, what scene are you most looking forward to from the book to be turned into? And it's only when the guy next to me said goblins and Gringotts that I realised, Christ, I don't have an answer here. So I just said, yeah, same as him, mate. Desperate to see those Gringotts goblins. They sound great. And Chris Columbus saw straight through me. I'm sure he did, actually. Maybe that helped get the part. I'm not sure.
We, the poor public, are seeing part 1 of the movie made from the last book. Mm-hmm. This is confusing to a lot of people.
Yeah, sure.
But part 2 will be next July 15th here in the States. Mm-hmm. So we can see it all. But you finished with it. It's done.
It is.
Man, you are no longer Draco.
I know.
Unless you can't let go of him and dye your hair in private and walk around at home that way.
I have snuck a little piece of his clothing away from the set. And whenever I do feel a little sad and little withdrawal symptoms, it's a ring, actually. I slip on the ring.
It's a ring.
And I get back into character.
I want to go back to the very first scene you shot for the very first, when you were probably 4.5 years old.
3.5.
What was this?
First scene, we were all brought together as a group, more or less for the first time, where we were still meeting each other outside of the grand entrance to the Great Hall. And Chris Columbus was very specific about us not seeing the Great Hall before the cameras can capture it, because they want it to be a genuine shock of, genuine state of awe. And it was awkward. We spent 10 minutes waiting outside those doors, not knowing what to do, awkwardly introducing ourselves to each other, and then they rolled cameras and the doors opened, and it was truly magical. Excuse the pun.
What was it? What was it? The doors open, everybody's there, but what is your first scene as Draco, where you're...
it was actually on the staircase. The scene prior to that in the film, we didn't shoot it prior, was the one where Harry and Ron are on the staircase with all the new students waiting for McGonagall to let us in, and there's a little speech there. So I think it was, "So the rumours are true" on the train, something along those lines. And young Potter and I have our first confrontation, which is always, we revelled in that.
In the beginning, he kind of wants to be Harry's friend, because
he lends a hand, doesn't he? He puts a hand out. Unfortunately, gets denied. But
well, because this whole Malfoy family is like you're coming from like Hitler Youth. There's just something going on with you. The Aryan race. It's just, we're so cool and you're not. You're
I've wanted
a bunch
to say
of
that for
muggles
years.
and mudbloods. So you could never say it because they would just punish you.
I'm glad you did the
I
words
can
out of
bring
my
it
mouth.
up,
Thank
and
you,
then
Peter.
it's okay, and I'll be yelled at by somebody. But it is. I mean, what's that white blonde hair?
Completely. The look says it all. Pale face, blue eyes, blonde hair, slick back. Yeah. To me, that says it all. From the start, that defines your character very, very quickly on. You remember this? It was dun 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 dun, and it goes on.